Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. My name is Chris Grassi. I'm the Managing Director of Highmetric here in the UK, and I will be your host for the next 45 minutes as we explore what's new in ServiceNow's New York release. For those of you who are unfamiliar with us, Highmetric are a global elite ServiceNow partner who specialize in helping our clients get work done with the ServiceNow platform. Our team has over 20 years of service management experience, working with over 1,000 of our clients across 3,000 of their most strategic initiatives. With a presence in the US, UK, Europe, Canada, and India, we are able to provide expert local delivery and continuous managed ServiceNow services on a truly global scale. It is also my pleasure to introduce our presenter today, Dominic Lewington, who is our Director of Solution Consulting here at Highmetric in the UK. Dom has been with us for over 10 years and currently works very closely with some of our largest clients, helping them get the most value from their ServiceNow investment. Dom, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chris, and I'd also like to extend my welcome today. I will be running you through the rest of the webinar as we look, as Chris mentioned, at what's new in the New York release of ServiceNow, and specifically the ITSM portion of that. So we have 2 or 3 demonstrations today. We also have a review and a roundup of exactly what's new and what's great in the new ServiceNow New York release. So without further ado, let's get started. So the major message, the major takeaway from today's webinar around where ServiceNow are going in terms of ITSM and the ServiceNow platform is this mantra of making work life as great as real life, bringing all those really wonderful consumer grade applications, websites, mobile clients we use day to day, your Uber, your Netflix, and taking that sort of experience into work life. So we're talking about intelligence and intuitive mobile first technologies that give you that experience at work. So today we'll look at various different facets that bring together that experience on the Now platform, and we'll concentrate on IT workflows today. So we'll look at some of the new intelligence features that allow the automatic routing, prioritization, categorization of work from the employee to the resolvers. We'll look at some of the new workspaces that bring a simplified, consolidated user interface and user experience to both those employees and also those fulfillers, whether they be working as an ITSM fulfiller, whether they be working as a service portfolio owner. We'll look at the workspaces that bring all that good tech we're used to within ServiceNow into a single consolidated view. And we'll also look at probably the headline takeaway from the new New York release, which is this Now Mobile, the mobile client, the mobile application in the hands of the employees. So the headline is 678 new features in the New York release of the ServiceNow platform, and specifically around some of the modules as well. So these will be brand new features, great enhancements, and some of the fixes to some of the frustration points that people have had in the past. We're not going to go through all 678 today, obviously, but we're going to try and catch 3 or 4 of the top pieces, the attention grabbers that we think will improve your experience with ServiceNow and improve your employees' consumption of the IT services that you offer them. So first of all, let's talk about the most attention-grabbing new enhancement or feature within the ServiceNow New York platform, which is the Now Mobile application, a native application for iOS and Android that allows our employees to engage with us as IT service providers as it would engage with people within the consumer space. So ServiceNow has traditionally had a fulfiller or a resolver mobile phone application, and in the New York release, we also bring that technology into the hands of our employees and our customers. So some of the major outcomes, some of the major drivers of this particular shift, this paradigm shift, is employee-focused service, native mobile integration. So now using our mobile phones, we can use all those native features that we use, again, in that consumer space. We can use our camera. We can use Siri and Alexa to be able to recognize voice. We can use the camera and natural language and image recognition to actually be able to take a picture of something like a laptop, which we'll show you later, and generate an instant ticket directly from that picture. Intuitive gesture support. In some of the legacy clients for ServiceNow and other tools, you're always rather driven down a particular workflow. There'll be the same experience, whether it be through a tablet, through a desktop PC, through a laptop PC, or through the mobile, without using some of the great gesture pieces we use in other applications. So we'll look at things like swiping, we'll look at things like 2-finger, 3-finger gestures, and so forth, in terms of actually being able to use a mobile like a mobile rather than a cut-down browser. Knowledge and answers. This brings knowledge management, knowledge articles, how-to guides into the hand of our employees, really promoting self-service, shifting less towards tier 0 type resolutions so that we empower our employees to be able to run through workflows, fix issues themselves, take knowledge away to be able to do their job very much like they'll be able to do in their home life in terms of instructional pieces. Mobile approval and to-dos. So this again is something that was maybe lacking from some of the legacy clients, but now we'll be able to approve issues on the run, again using those swipe gestures in our hand. We'll be able to, in terms of things like employee onboarding, be able to have those to-do lists, again directly through the power of a mobile phone. So those are some of the major outcomes that we're driven towards that will make this a successful deployment into your employees' hands. Again, making work life as great as home life. So let's run through a quick demonstration of this new now mobile application available for our employees. So we have the ability to look at things like approvals, requests, and catalog items straight on a landing screen. The ability to search for people within our organization. Here I'm searching for Harry, who's my HR contact, to bring back his contact details, his location, and exactly how I can engage with him in terms of any HR queries that I might have. We've also got the ability to look at broadcasts, news articles, what's going on within our organization. How can I engage as an employee with my colleagues and my co-workers? Ability for knowledge management, again, to be put straight in my hand. I can view things like my benefits, my expenses, all the pieces I need as an employee to be able to understand, again, how to engage better, how to resolve issues, how to fulfill pieces myself, and to promote self-service. So we're going to say, okay, this was a helpful article. We're going to rate this article and just leave back some feedback so we can understand which articles are most useful and which articles our employees are using the most to self-serve, resolve issues, and to empower themselves. Okay, let's go back to the landing screen and open up a request that I have currently to work on. So 3 open requests. I'm going to open one up and have a look at its progress. We can see its workflow, progress towards completion, the current activity, and I can add comments, work notes directly to this request from my mobile phone. So I'm ordering a stand-up desk here, so I'm just going to let the person know how tall I am, so what will need to be set out when facilities bring it over to my location. And that comment will be acted directly into the order activity, so again, it can be seen by myself and my colleagues. Okay, so catalog items, the ability to access a service catalog through my mobile phone. Let's book a meeting room. So I scroll through my available meeting rooms, find one in my building, and book that directly from my mobile phone. Okay, let's approve some of the items within my queue. So let's review some of these items. I've got quite a few to do here, quite a few to action. Let's open one up. Okay, we can approve this directly from the piece itself, from the request itself, or we can use those swipe gestures, as we mentioned earlier, the ability to approve directly using native mobile phone gestures. I'm going to decline this one and leave a reason for Vicky Johnson why it has been declined. Okay, brilliant. So help with an issue, ability to create a ticket or create an incident directly again from my mobile application using some of the native features. So open this up, I'm going to use my camera to take a picture of my laptop. So it's going to recognize my laptop. And it's going to bring back some options. You can see it's a laptop. I'm going to choose the laptop option, and then it's going to generate some options that I can action against that laptop. I'm going to describe my issue and get that ticket submitted. Again, everything from my phone, everything using the native mobile features that we're used to in our home life. Submit that ticket. We're also bringing the virtual agent, the virtual agent that feature is always available through the service portal for the last couple of releases. We're bringing that into the hands of our employees. So let's open up the virtual agent. So this is a conversational interface. I'm going to engage with the virtual agent as a virtual tier 1 support analyst. We're going to ask it some questions. We're going to try and reset our VPN connection here. So all the service portal, the web app are also available in our hands through the mobile phone application of Virtual Agent, now mobile for employees. We can use voice recognition here, and we're going to try and reset our password. Recognize that as password reset, and now it will start taking through the steps. You can see I'm using a Mac. Yes, I am using a Mac. I can confirm that. I would like to continue. It will give me the steps as per a knowledge base article to actually do it myself. No, this didn't help me today, so I can then be brought up some other articles. No, again, they did not. So then I can log a ticket, an IT ticket, an incident directly from this conversation with the virtual agent. Okay, so that is now mobile. Probably the biggest headline, biggest tickets item in the New York release, now mobile, the power of ServiceNow in our employees' hand, employees' palm. So we also mentioned enhancements and the increased use of platform intelligence to intelligently route work throughout the organization, the ability to intelligently categorize pieces of work coming in from our employees and our customers, and the ability to prioritize this work based on keywords, machine learning, and agent intelligence. So outcomes. The biggest piece to take away from the New York release that builds on the agent intelligence and the agent workspace from Madrid and from London is the similarity engine. So this allows us and we'll demonstrate this in a second, from a single agent workspace ticket view to actually see similar tickets of different types, problems, changes that may be related or are related to the ticket that we have just submitted. So Agent Assist will go across the rest of our ServiceNow ecosystem, finding and detecting related issues, related changes, and other pieces that would add value for me as a resolver to actually get this ticket fixed and make our employees back on the path to being happy again. It's also going to suggest automated actions. So us as a resolver can actually see, right, this is what the my support organization is recommending as the next steps to actually resolve this issue or to fulfill this request or to start investigating this problem. So we can start automating some of the resolution, some of the remediation, and some of the enrichment activities we would naturally do as IT resolvers, tier 1 through to tier 3. Assignment routing, so we're actually going to allow our employees to submit requests, submit incident tickets through a portal or through the now mobile phone, and actually have those routed to the right resolver groups, fulfillment groups automatically based on rules that we set up, or based on the machine learning and understanding an email ticket goes to the network team, an email client, an Outlook ticket would go to the software team, and so forth. So that coached or uncoached machine learning adding value to the assignment routing for the agent intelligence piece, and specifically the agent workspace. Predictive categorizations. So again, we're not going to ask complex 2, 3, 4 tier categorizations for our employees. We're going to work it out automatically based on keywords, based on the way they actually express the ticket through whichever way they've submitted to us as the service provider. Accurate prioritization, again, this is something that allows us to take their prioritization away from the employees. They're submitting the request, they're submitting the ticket, and us based on how many people it affects, whether they're a VIP, lots of different factors sat on top of the machine learning and the predictive pieces from the agent intelligence can actually prioritize these tickets correctly. So our resolvers, our support staff are working on the right tickets, the right requests in the right order. Okay, so let's look at agent intelligence. So I brought up the service portal and I brought up a service catalog item that allows me to submit an incident in a very simple way. I'm going to choose the impact on me, and I am going to just simply give a short description of what exactly is affecting me today. So impact of medium, I'm going to say I have slow email. So it's going to bring back in line those ticket deflection pieces, that knowledge management there. It's brought back intelligently articles, how-to pieces around to actually fulfill or solve this issue or investigate this issue myself. Today that's not helped, so let us submit this incident ticket. You can see predictive software for some groups. There's some of the intelligence there through the front end as well. And we can see now the standard ticket conversation form we're all used to using the service portal from an employee perspective. So let's have a look at what that looks like at the back end. So I've opened up my agent workspace. Let's just give that queue a refresh. Right, so enhancements in the agent workspace. First of all, we have an extended dashboard from an employee perspective. And let's not forget the key part, the key driving force of the agent workspace is a consolidated, simplified interfaces that removes the clutter and just brings the information, the data, and the analytics I need as a resolver to actually work on these tickets, fulfill these requests, and so forth. So now we have our heads up home screen for agent workspace, allows us to see the number of P1 incidents, incidents close to SLA breaches, SLAs at risk, unassigned incidents, and so forth. And also, in our third webinar of the series, you'll see how ITOM has now been integrated into the agent workspace. So I can also see here as an operator, current open alerts and how they're being dealt with and whether or not they need to be IT tickets. So let's look at some of the list pieces. So big extension here. The last couple of releases, Agent Workspace has really been built out. It started quite simple, allowing us to look really at our CSM cases and our IT incidents. But now we have the ability to not only build our own lists as resolvers, but also look at some of the out-of-the-box pieces. And you can see on the left-hand side here, as we scroll up and down the list section, a lot more choice, a lot more powerful navigation from user experience and user interface piece to actually bring out the work that I need to be concentrating on. But today, we're going to look at our incidents. So look at my slow email. This has come in here. Let's open that guy up. So the same tabbed interface that we're used to. The ability, obviously, to open multiple incidents. But now we've extended Agent Workspace across a wider range of modules, a wider range of applications. This becomes even more compelling in terms of the way that people like to work. So slow emails, we can see that the agent workspace, as it has been evolving into, that simple consolidation. We can see that we have a timeline, very much like the CSM timeline, that allows us to see how many seconds, minutes, whatever it might be, the ticket has spent with the employee versus how long it's spent with us as the IT service provider. We can see some simple CRM piece, but obviously this is CRM in terms of our employees, to see who's logged this ticket, contact details, and so forth. SLAs, front and center on the left-hand side here, and the details and activity stream also right there in the middle. One of the major pieces of feedback ServiceNow, and we got about some of the more traditional platform views for the forms, is a lot of the very important information we use day to day was right down at the bottom in a related list. So what we're trying to do here is consolidate the key pieces into a single scroll-free view. Most importantly, let's have a look at this incident. So we can see, even though I've only given it an impact and a description, it is categorized it as software, prioritized it as low, and automatically routed it to the assignment group software. Quite a rudimentary piece here, but they're the three key pieces going on behind the scene with agent intelligence: categorization, prioritization, and assignment routing, either from rules or uncoached or supervised machine learning that will start to do these pieces or at least suggest the rules to us as it gets through our data, starts to understand our organization, starts to understand our workflows and the way we work. So those are the key pieces of agent intelligence in terms of the routing sections, but also we want to start looking at the agent assist. So this is a brand new piece. It was there in Madrid, but it was very much early adopters and limited release. But it's now going to be front and center, so we can start understanding related pieces. So we can actually bring these up in order or consolidate them into a single view. For this demonstration, I'm just going to have a look at some of them in order so we can see related incidents that we might want to group into a major incident or group into a problem. We can see actually related problems here. So we might also already have a problem that's covering the slow emails that we're seeing today in our organization. Actually, it does look like we've got the email system is down again, which is useful information. So what I'm actually going to do there is I'm going to link this problem directly through the agent workspace to my incident ticket. Problem has been added. So again, we're extending the functionality of agent workspace with more intelligence, including the ability to use a similarity engine to pass through a lot of the different objects and related modules within ServiceNow to actually start looking at mean time to repair, root cause analysis in a much more intelligent way. So if we have a related major incident, and in this case we do. So that email exchange server being down has already been promoted within our organization to a major incident. So we should be able to link this one-off incident or this single user impact incident to that major incident as well. Okay, so that is about it for the agent intelligence piece. Again, it's quite broad subject, so very happy to take any offline questions or you guys to look through some of the documentation to see exactly what else is available. Okay, let's talk about some of the other workspaces that have been released in the New York edition, New York release. So we've just looked at the agent workspace and some of its expansions and enhancements. We have a new service owner workspace, and we have a new ITOM workspace, which will be discussed in a subsequent webinar. So the service owner workspace extends service portfolio management and continual service improvement in terms of people that actually are owning these processes, owning these services, and are responsible for their performance. So outcomes here, what do we want to achieve? Well, service excellence is obviously the driver, and to achieve service excellence, we need to really plan ahead of time what those KPIs look like. Okay, it's very easy to say, we want excellent service, but does that mean above 99% uptime? Does that mean a CSAT or a customer satisfaction score of over 8.5? So we can start defining the KPIs that actually allow us to say, yes, we are hitting what we consider service excellence. Service lifecycle visibility. And visibility is a key outcome across the board when we're talking about New York. It allows us as service owners to really see the state of the services, the ecosystem we're supporting, the lifecycle of those from plan, provision, in operation, retired, and so forth, in a single place without having to jump to multiple screens within ServiceNow. Proactive service management. So it's very easy to manage a service that's poor if lots of people telling us it's poor, but that is too late. That is trying to solve the problem after the horse has bolted, as it were. So with this service owner consolidated view, we've got all the metrics, all the indicators in the same place that allow us to say, okay, we can see a downward trend here. We can see the CSAT score going down. We can see less and less users subscribing to the service. Let's see why that is and turn it around before it becomes an endemic problem. Service consumption reporting. This gives us visibility into understanding actually who is using these services. Okay, it's obvious when it's things like email, it's fairly organizational wide, but if it's expensive pieces like proprietary reporting solutions or things like MS Visio or MS Project that have quite expensive license considerations, who is actually using these services? From there, we can make an intelligent decision about where we should be distributing our expensive licenses, is one good example. Single UI of action, everything in the same place, is really the driving mantra when it comes to the design and the implementation of these workspaces. Okay, so we're going to have a look through the workspace now. and also have a look at how that workspace is built up by jumping into service portfolio management and continual service improvement as well. Okay, so I'm logged into the service owner workspace. I can see that I'm managing here 6 different taxonomy areas within the organization. And it's very easy for me to see very quickly which of my services are currently in a good status and which of my services or my taxonomy areas within service management actually need to be looked at, actually need some input and some direction. So we can see that everything looks good apart from IT management and consulting. And again, what looks good is definable by us. We put at the very high level, or we consider the performance score to be good, middling, needs attention. So let's open that up in a hierarchical type view. Okay, so we can see going down the tree that actually IT management and consulting is made up of some areas, some taxonomy areas or nodes, as they're called within ServiceNow, which is enterprise architecture, IT training, security management, service development, and so forth. We can see there really the enterprise architecture node is the one causing us some issue. And underneath that, the actual service itself, DocuSign Enterprise Services, is a piece that needs attention. You can see there it's got the lowest score in terms of the high-level service. We can see that a service is actually made up of n amount of service offerings. So we can see that underneath the DocuSign Enterprise Services, we have roughly 8 different service offerings. And we can see straight away it's a DocuSign for IT operations, which has a performance score, or bad performance score, or a low performance score of less than 5% satisfaction, is the one that needs to be addressed. Okay, so let's go back up to the high level, the actual taxonomy area, and see what's going on here. So, okay, so we can see at our taxonomy area, the nodes making up that area. So we can see the enterprise architecture there. We can also see the weighting. So in terms of calculating or bubbling up those scores from the service offerings themselves, we can set weightings on the taxonomy areas and the higher level services that actually allow us to calculate the score in a slightly weighted way. So we can see, for argument's sake here, enterprise architecture has a node weight of 17%. They're all set to the same for this particular taxonomy area. So let's open up enterprise architecture. Okay, so enterprise architecture has 2 services, DocuSign Enterprise Services and Campaign Management. Again, similar weighting. We can see the delivery manager, we can see the service owner, we can see the business owner up here as well, Betty Business. So we have a good understanding not only what is going on with these service areas and these taxonomy nodes, but also who is responsible for their delivery, who owns them, and it's a business contact as well in one single consolidated view. So let's open up DocuSign Enterprise Services. Okay, so an overview piece, trending and analytics for snapshots and long-term views. So we can see our service performance score is 24, and it's been 24 for quite some time. Number of subscribers, interestingly, has started to rise recently, so since it was last sampled. And a lot of these metrics are built in the back end automatically. They don't need human intervention. You set the rules, and ServiceNow as a platform will start calculating these metrics. The total subscribers is up 3%, 23 real people within the last period of time. So a total subscribers on September the 23rd for our DocuSign Enterprise Services was 713. So we can start understanding actually who is using our services, who are consuming the services we design and delivering. Impact stream, so this is really important. This allows us to see in terms of the services and the service offerings and so forth, exactly what is coming up or what has happened in terms of IT operations. So you can see here, for argument's sake, we have one upcoming change and one recent change. So some changes of configuration settings. An upcoming change is a Java application server change. We can see its planned start date and its planned end date, and that will come back off the back of hopefully something proactive like a CSI ticket. So we can actually say, okay, this service needs to be improved. Okay, we have a plan that's going to require these 2 or 3 IT changes, and then align them from a high level with the performance of the service. We can also see some information around the service. This is going to be our detailed view of exactly what is happening. This just loads up. So the performance breakdown for the other services, the team responsible for delivering it, and actually in real time, a breakdown of the total subscribers across the groups, the geographies, and so forth. So we can see the company subscribed, number of subscribers, individual users, and so forth. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the improvement initiatives we have. So as a service owner, I see I have a problem here with the DocuSign service I'm offering to the business. So we have set up 2 improvement initiatives to actually look at improving that performance score, and they will be the overall improvement project that the related changes, tasks, and so forth fall under. So again, I'm showing you the bits and pieces, but the most important message is all these pieces that were rather ad hoc in previous versions of ServiceNow have now been consolidated into this service owner dashboard. Okay, let's have a quick look at our overview, and let's have a look at our troublesome piece, which is DocuSign for IT operations. Actually, interestingly, if you look at the vendor piece, DocuSign for IT operations is the only service that we're outsourcing to an external vendor. So that could be something we can investigate in terms of what our contractual relationships with them are, what our SLAs are, what exactly is the service they're trying to deliver. Okay, let's open up DocuSign for IT operations. We can see the performance score has dropped rather worrying downward trend, but again, the service subscribers is going up, so this is something that needs to be addressed. More people are using it, and as more people are using this service, the performance score, whether that comes from CSAT availability outages, whatever it might be, is declining. This is worrying for me as a service owner. Right, the last piece to look at is what the impact of this is. So we can see upstream and downstream, right, if we're having issues with this service, what's it going to affect? So it could be in terms of root cause, DocuSign for procurement or DocuSign for legal, and upstream, what is actually relied on as a service to produce its service, is the DocuSign for marketing as well. So really good analysis of downstream and upstream reliant service offerings, all in one place, all correlated with the other metrics we've just discussed. Okay. So continual service improvement is what happens here at the back end. So we can see that we have a variety of different work in progress service pieces. We can see some reviewing for their actual progress, and we can use this as a planning workspace as well. So I can actually write, these are the work in progress SIM pieces or CSI pieces. This is my backlog, and I can drag and drop here, promote things and demote things as a service owner as I prioritize what my service improvement initiatives might be. We have a dashboard here as well that allows us to look at a high level about exactly what is going on. So we can see our user engagement scores, our total initiatives in terms of progress, initiatives in the backlog, unassigned pieces. And again, as per standard dashboards, I can drill down through these visualizations to see the underpinning records. So I can see my 26 current initiatives and my 1 unassigned initiative to actually assign that to the relevant people. Outcome analysis, very, very, very important. There's no point setting up these initiatives, planning these initiatives, running these initiatives if I'm not actually scoring or analyzing whether they're successful from an outcome perspective. So we can see here outcomes achieved in the last 6 months. We can see that broken down by the area, cost reduction, quality improvement, revenue generation, time saving are my example benefits. And we can see at the bottom, in terms of the KPIs, most importantly, I've completed within the last 6 months. Okay, so the last demonstrational area or feature of the New York release I'm going to look at today is improvements, enhancements, and expansions to the virtual agent piece. Obviously, we've already reviewed the major piece here, which is now available in the palm of my hand as an employee. But let's look at some other pieces that are going on behind the scenes to improve that experience, whether I be an employee, whether I be a service owner trying to deflect tickets or promote tier 0 type resolutions. Number one, we're following what is holistically the market trend, which is moving towards conversational interfaces rather than traditional portal views. So I can have a very natural conversation as if I was discussing with a human being, a request or a ticket. I can have that conversation with the virtual agent. Anywhere virtual agent access is important, as I mentioned, employees can use it, resolvers can use it, approvers can use it. All the key personas within the ServiceNow ecosystem can use the virtual agent to fulfill contextually what their job entails or what their relationship is with the service provider. It provides context and intent using natural language understanding, NLP. So rather than just having to hit exactly nail on the head what the particular conversation is, I can say things like, I need my password reset. I can say things like, oh, my laptop's running slow today. And the virtual agent using that natural language understanding and processing can actually take that, align it with the services we offer, align it with the ability to submit an incident ticket. So context and intent based around natural understanding and processing. Accelerate issue resolution, promote tier 0 type resolutions, shift left in this case, as we're putting this in the hands of an automated virtual agent, and actually try and modernize these services I'm providing to my employees, to my customers. And again, just going back to the overall mantra, trying to make work life as great as home life. And self-service promotion, we're trying to reduce our ticket load. We're trying to reduce the occurrence of common issues, password resets, all that sort of good stuff, and offload that recurring task, that automation piece to a virtual agent. Okay, with that in mind, let me just jump across. So first things first, let's look at the conversations. Incrementally between versions, and definitely with major version releases, London, Madrid, New York, Orlando, and so forth, ServiceNow are adding new conversations. You can create, obviously, your custom conversations, but as a rule, when we're trying to go out of the box and avoid customization, it's important for us these conversations grow. So we have a lot more options now in terms of doing things like creating problems, change requests, and so forth that maybe we didn't have in the London and Madrid options or London and Madrid releases. Okay, so we're going to try and do this slightly differently today. So the conversational. How do I, my VPN. So it's going to go away now, check against the knowledge base articles, VPN connectivity. Connected from a Mac today. And I'm having this conversation very much like I'd have a conversation with a support desk staff, a tier 0, tier 1 type approach. Right. Yep, these steps worked for me today, so I was able to self-serve. Yes, I have some other issues today. I've got a slow computer. Looking fairly generic. Not expecting me as a user to type the exact request in the language required. I'll troubleshoot my slow computer. I'll give the steps as dictated by knowledge. No, today those steps did not help. And it's bubbling up some ticket deflection pieces in terms of trying to give me the information I need to do it myself. No, they did not. Yes, so I've got the ability now to segue from knowledge management and trying to self-serve to actually create an instant ticket directly from this chat with the virtual agent. Nope. All right, let's start something else. So let's look at another common use case. Let's have a look at ticket status. So I've got a couple of open tickets and I want to see where they are. So it's worked out I have 8 currently open incidents. So let's open up the one of interest today. So we can see its progress, its attributes. So status and new, last time it was updated. I would like to add a comment to this. So everything happening within this conversation interface, just like I was talking to a real person, rather than having to step through a series of forms. And I can say this is becoming recurring. And I'll add that comment or that work note directly to the ticket, again, from that virtual agent conversational interface. No. Okay, so that is the major highlight improvements of the virtual agent: new conversations, new options, natural language processing, natural language understanding, and probably most important, the fact that it has an employee-facing option now, as well as a employee-facing option through a virtual portal, through a portal, as well as through the mobile phone application. Okay, so that's about all we have time for today. If you'd like to, please, or if you're not already, or you may well be already registered for them, but we have an upcoming customer service management webinar on the 8th of October. Then we have an upcoming ITOM webinar on the 22nd of October. We're also going to be at the Excel Centre on the 17th of October for Now at Work, which obviously is ServiceNow's biggest event outside of knowledge. So please do register for that. Come along and see us. I can do a live interactive demonstration of some of the pieces we've seen today, or some of the pieces in other modules you might be interested in. If you are interested in an upgrade, that is something we're doing a lot with a lot of our other customers, so please do contact us. You'll also notice in the webinar control on the right-hand side of your screen, hopefully, there's a couple of handouts that might be useful in terms of some data around an upgrade, a pre-flight checklist, and all that sort of good stuff as well. So you've got some takeaways there that, if you are planning on an upgrade, will really help add value to that planning and that strategy around how you're going to approach it. But that's pretty much everything from me today. I'm going to get Chris back on the phone, and we're going to see if we had any questions that I will answer in conversation with Chris. Chris, welcome back.
Thanks, Dom, and thanks for the demo. We actually do have a few questions. So if those of you who did have questions have anything to say, please just post it in the question box in the control panel there from GoToWebinar. First question, obviously, we're just talking about an upgrade here. So someone was asking, just I guess, how long does it typically take to do an upgrade? Say you're a version back or 2 versions back.
Okay, so that's a really good question, actually. And again, it's very much dependent on the complexity of your environment, the number of modules you have in scope, customizations, and so forth. But we found for the root mean squared customer who has done the right thing and remained relatively out of the box, relatively configuration only, about 10 days. But that's not 10 days of upgrade work where your system will be down. That's 10 days of planning, testing, and just really a few minutes or a few hours of the actual upgrade itself. So about 10 days, Chris, for the root mean squared type customer who is relatively out of the box.
Great. Thanks. And I guess for the, I guess some of the other things we see for customers who aren't as much out of the box is it's more of a come in and work with them, do a health check, scan the system and see where they're at, and then kind of make a plan going forward to understand how much time it would take. So that's the other side of that.
Yeah.
You know, it is, you can always upgrade. It's just a matter of getting prepared for it. So speaking of getting prepared, actually, there was another question around that. So someone wanted to know, I guess, what are some of the things that they can do to be prepared for upgrading their instance?
Okay, so first of all, there is lots of good documentation available through Highmetric or on the ServiceNow document sites in terms of checklists of things you should be running through. But it's very much around strategy and planning rather than technical to-dos. And by that, I mean looking at how you're going to test, what you're going to test, understanding the documentation of any changes or customizations you might have made. And there are lots of good tools also to help with that process. For instance, ATF, or the Automated Testing Framework, is one of the things we didn't really mention today, but a big step forward in the New York release, which has out-of-the-box test scripts for a lot of the core modules, incident, problem, and change. So my recommendation would be, first of all, to get your house in order, understand your system, understand your documentation, download or use some of the pre-flight checklists that Highmetric or ServiceNow offer, then it's test, test, test. Either that be in an automated fashion using the ATF, or whether that be manually running through those workflows. It is more of a back-end loaded exercise and upgrade than a upfront loaded exercise. Does that make sense, Chris?
Yep, no, that makes sense. The other thing I would say is that if those who are interested, check out highmetric.com. Right from our homepage, you can go to our New York Release Upgrade Resource Center, and there's lots of information and material there that can get you on your way. I think we've got links to loads of different things, as well as our own content as well, to try to help our clients and yourselves get up to speed and get ready to take advantage of the latest features. So I think that's about it for today in the questions. We'll come back to those that we didn't get to directly, but thank you everyone for your time today. The session has been recorded and will be sent out to you all in a day or so. So thanks again very much for your time today, and we will look forward to seeing you on part 2 in the next few weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks all.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.